Hello everybody, I'm Realis here. It's been a long time since I've recorded. I just finished university, so you can congratulate me.
Congratulations! Congratulations! Congratulations!
It's done, it's over, yeah. He's my friend, his name is Harinam Ananda Das.
Hare Krishna.
He's been a monk for how many years?
About 12 years now.
12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time. Yeah, it's a lockdown again in Melbourne, so
The public health team have advised me to reimpose stage 3 stay-at-home restrictions.
I know it's tough for you guys, so I think it's a good idea that we can read some literature which is spiritual and talks about how to deal with anxieties and all kind of difficult situations that we face in life. What do you think?
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as you can see, there are a lot of books behind us. That's Srimad Bhagavatam on your left side, all these colorful books, and on the right side is Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we'll speak more about it in the upcoming series, but Srimad Bhagavatam is the...
cream of all spiritual knowledge you can get in the universe.
So we're gonna read not from the first book, but we're gonna read from the 7th book. Yeah. And why, you will find out.
Cool.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Let's do it. Alright, so we got this book 7 here. It's called 7th Canto. Actually, there's more books before that. But we're gonna read from chapter 6. And this is a very interesting chapter where a 5-year-old boy instructs his schoolmates about spiritual knowledge. Have you read all these books?
Yeah, I read those books. I think I'm on my 5th time around, actually.
5 times?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
I
can't
know.
stop. It's very... Actually, you know how we do our Netflix binge, or we like our episodes of Friends, or whatever, sitcom, Fresh Prince. And you just go through it again and again, find new things, but here there's so many episodes which are infused with so much spiritual upliftment. And this book is not just an academic book. I know we're wearing the glasses, we look very academic, but I'm telling you straight that life is about having ever-increasing enjoyment. And this knowledge that's presented here, it's a full experience. These are spiritual books on the Absolute platform. So what happens when you read it, even if you don't understand, the universe arranges itself such a way, because you're trying to connect to the source of everything. Things get arranged in your life where you understand what's in the book.
So yeah, I guess it's really different. I've experienced myself when you connect with the spiritual knowledge, when you read what it looks like the same story again, you don't get bored. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, it's like, you listen to the song and it's top 10 hits on Shazam or whatever. And then you listen to it for a few days, again and again, maybe 10 times a day, maybe even more. And then, yeah, it's not good anymore. You gotta change it. You gotta find a new song. You gotta go on SoundCloud, check out these new songs.
Yeah.
So yeah, it gets boring. But with the spiritual knowledge, and you will find out why is it so as we read this book. With the spiritual knowledge, you can go deeper and deeper and explore more and more what seems to be the same story, which you read again and again. Yeah, so obviously you don't get bored after reading these books for 5 times.
No, not at all, not at all. It's a revolution, spiritual revolution of consciousness.
Oh, I like that.
That's what it's all about.
So we're gonna start reading this 7th canto. Again, it's 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 6. There are a lot of texts in this chapter. So we'll start from text 1, We'll read it and then we'll discuss it and see how relevant it is for our own life.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Shri Prahlada Vacha Komara Achale Pragyo Dhammam Bhagavatam Niha Dulabham Manasanjama Tadapi Arjuvam Atadam.
So that's Sanskrit, because all the Vedas they are written in the original language of the Vedas, which is Sanskrit, probably the oldest language available.
Oldest language. All written in rhyme.
A lot of you can find a lot of similarity between other languages, like English, Russian, any other European language, Italian. You can find a lot of similarities and similar words to these Sanskrit words as we go along. You can see, because they all flow from that original language, Sanskrit. What's the translation?
Okay, so we better know what it means. Prahlad Maharaj, the 5-year-old boy, said, "One who is sufficiently intelligent should use the human form of body from the very beginning of life. In other words, from the tender age of childhood. To practice the activities of devotional service, giving up all other engagements, the human body is most rarely achieved, and although temporary, like other bodies, it is meaningful because in human life, one can perform devotional service. Even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can give one complete perfection."
Yeah. All right. So that's a very interesting text. And what do you think? So can you explain to me what does it actually mean? It's mentioned a couple of times, devotional service. So what does devotional service mean?
So actually, we're serving at every moment. And if you look at, that's the essence of who we are.
Yeah, like this morning, we were walking on the beach and you can see a lot of people, they're walking their dogs.
Yes, they are walking their dogs.
And then when the dogs have to poop, then you gotta clean it.
You gotta do some sort of dog service.
Some service.
Yeah.
Also some rich people, a lot of rich people in the city, or people who are striving to achieve materialistic success, gain a lot of money. These people are also serving their boss or serving the company. You gotta give service to other people as well.
President's gotta serve his citizens.
Yeah, so you gotta serve.
Even a beggar in the street, he may say he doesn't serve no one, he has no boss, no job. He still has to serve his belly when he gets hungry.
Ooh, yeah.
So, service is always there. We're inherently a servant. Even within a family, the parents serve the kids serve the parents. There's always someone we have to serve or something. So devotional service is that perfection of that service attitude, that servant essence that's inside of us, when it's directed towards the source of everything. And service pretty much means showing love, to serve without wanting anything in return.
Yeah, and I guess that's why it says here sufficiently intelligent should use the human form of body from the very beginning of life. So that's what makes us different from animals.
Yeah, animals, they just want something for themselves. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. It's all for me. In the human form of life, we have that intelligence to be equipped. Having a sense of how others feel, empathy. And
we can
how
contemplate.
how do my actions affect others? And instead of taking, what am I contributing to others?
Yeah.
So devotional service is like it's the one switch that turns all the lights on, where you hit the root of everything, of all existence. Just like you water the root of the tree. You don't water each leaf, branch, twig, no. You water the root, and then all the twigs, the branches, the leaves get full nourishment beyond their own capacity. So when we serve in connection to the source of everyone and everything, we're showing love to the source of everyone and everything, automatically you have love and empathy, at least, to everyone and everything that comes from the source.
Mm. So I guess it will be a very relevant question if I ask you, how does that relate to your chanting and dancing?
Yeah, so that's a very easy way to connect to the source.
Source of happiness.
Source of happiness, source of intelligence,
Source of Big Bang.
the Big Bang.
Where did Big Bang come from?
Yeah, it's kind of
It's a very interesting
different
question.
thing there. Yeah, so we're always trying to find out where the human form of life has the intelligence to be equipped, or who am I? Why am I here? What's the purpose of life? What happens to me after I die? So let's start with where do I come from? So let's find out who you are first. That's a good idea, isn't it?
Yeah. I might just read the commentary of that text. So the whole purpose of Vedic civilization and of reading the Vedas, that's what we are reading now, is to attain the perfect stage of devotional service in the human form of life. According to the Vedic system, therefore, from the very beginning of life, the brahmacharya system is introduced so that from one's very childhood, from the age of 5 years, one can practice modifying one's human activities so as to engage perfectly in devotional service. Just quickly, can you explain what brahmacharya means? It's a Sanskrit word.
Yeah, Sanskrit word. Brahma means spirit, charya means to dwell within. And in spiritual traditions, even in now traditions, like knowledge, you go to school at 5 because that's when you can absorb so much knowledge. Traditionally, nowadays, modern society is gearing children to become more and more materialistic. Whereas in those who follow spiritual knowledge, they gear them to develop good character so they can contribute to society, to uplift them in spiritual consciousness. So if they dwell within spirit and are trained in that way in the beginning of their lives, then they can be a great asset to society at large.
I see. Yeah, wonderful. So it's kind of like a student life. Once you start studying as your 5-year-old kid, that's the stage. It's called brahmacharya. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, and that's the text, the essence of all the Vedas. It's shorter in terms of, if you compare it to the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's not as big, it's only one book, but it has all the essence teaching of the Vedas. So in that book, in chapter 4 or in chapter 2, text 40, it says Svalpam apyasya dharmasya trayati mahato bayat, which translates into even a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. The current situation, you can say, is very fearful, especially in terms of coronavirus. It's the biggest fear at the moment. You don't want to die prematurely.
Fear is going on.
Yeah. And if you're not scared of coronavirus, you might be scared of the government. Because if you have a gathering of 10 or actually 2 or more people in your household at the moment, then you might get a fine. It's scary.
Yeah, it's pretty intense stuff. I don't know. No one wants to pay a fine.
Yeah.
At least the fear of the fine, let alone death.
It's a hard-earned money. I don't want to waste it on that,
Yeah.
Okay, so it continues. Modern civilization, not referring to the verdicts of Vedic literature, is so cruel to the members of human society that instead of teaching children to become brahmacharis, it teaches mothers to kill their children even in the womb, on the plea of curbing the increase of population. And if by chance a child is saved, he is educated only for sense gratification. You want to comment on that?
Yeah.
It's a little bit harsh.
Yeah. What's wrong with abortion? Yeah, so let's start with the modern civilization. they don't know the first step of spiritual life, which is pointed out in Bhagavad Gita, which is the ABCs of spiritual life. That we're not this material body made of flesh and bone and blood, so many nice things in the body, but we're actually a spiritual being that's animating the body, like a driving a car.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's more important, the car or the driver?
The driver is.
Driver, of course. You know, there's a big crash and everything. It could be a $500,000 McLaren, but everyone's worried about the driver if he's alive. They don't care about the McLaren, because life is more important than matter.
Yeah.
So life is spiritual, and the matter is obviously material. It's always dead, but the life is coming from the spirit or consciousness. And what the purpose of life is to get happiness. That's why we go to school. That's why we go to work. That's why we have relationships, so we can be happy. But the stress still comes anyway. And if you don't know who you are, if you're thinking you're this body, this dress, you know, or someone's drowning, for example, a drowning man, right? He's drowning, and then you just, you know, you save his outer garment. I got him. I saved him. No, doesn't make sense, right? So modern civilization has misdirected innocent people, or innocent children now, to think that, yes, I'm this body and all the labels that are on it, like, you know, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm young or old, I'm black or white, I'm, you know, Indian or American or Australian. These are all temporary designations. And they're not worrying about that eternal soul that's going through all these changes of labels and situations. So that's the main fault in modern civilization, so-called civilization.
So we don't get educated on the topics that can really change our lives, that can...
Yeah, they don't lead to happiness.
They don't lead to happiness.
They don't lead to happiness.
And that's why you see so many suicides these days people are committing. Especially, don't think about the poor people who are on the street. They don't commit like that often compared to all the rich people, the richest people in the world, you know, like they do commit suicides because they don't know, they achieved
everything,
the highest perfection of the material world.
Yeah,
you have so much money, you can buy whatever you want, how much you want, you can swim in money, you can have a pool made of money and, you know, made of gold, and
then you hear a drug overdose or a suicide from an actor or a big musician or something, you know.
Yeah.
You know, why do they have to take drugs if they got all the money and fame? There's no need.
True.
They're trying to forget their problems. So the happiness is not there. It's described later on in this beautiful Bhagavatam. That it's just like chewing the chewed. You know, you chew chewing gum? Or like in high school, you find something underneath the table, and then you start chewing it. What juice or flavor you get from that?
Yeah.
So that's the nature of acting in illusion of the self.
Okay.
Yeah, but this brahmachari training, or celibate student life in spiritual tradition, is to train one on the path of true happiness, eternal happiness, the platform of the spirit soul.
Yeah. So you can try it yourself, you know, you can try and achieve all the goals that you have in your life. But if you want to skip this long path and don't want to get disappointed in the end, just stay tuned and we'll see. We'll see what it means to be spiritually happy. Gradually, throughout the entire world, human society is losing interest in the perfection of life. Indeed, men are living like cats and dogs, spoiling the duration of their human lives by actually preparing to transmigrate again to the degraded species among the 8,400,000 forms of life. That's a very specific form, specific number.
Yeah. Yeah, they're still trying to find all the species, huh? The scientists. How many species on the planet? This is in regards to the universe, actually. 8.4 million different types of species.
What I've heard, actually, it's not the different species, but rather different types of consciousness.
Yes, definitely.
So if you have like a crocodile and alligator, could be like a different species, but same kind of consciousness.
Yeah.
So human form of life is one of 8,400,000 forms of life. And what it means by degraded is if we live. There's actually one really famous Russian song. Sorry, I'm from Russia. I had to make a reference, but
Ruski Baruski.
yeah, exactly. So they this one famous singer, and he sang, that Indian people came up with a really nice religion that when you die, you don't die forever. You continue to live on, and that's just refers to the reincarnation and karma. And he says, if you live like a dog, you will become a dog next life. And that's kind of that's the point of karma and reincarnation. So your activities and your desires predetermine your future. That's what karma means, right? So what I do now, if I punch Harinam now, he might not punch me back. I hope so. No. he has a black belt, so yeah, it was a bad idea. But he might not punch me now, but in the future, I might get some sort of reaction. That's kind of the concept of karma, which I guess will be explained later on as well. But so the idea is, if you live like a cat or a dog, which means you just follow your instincts, you just live by eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, and don't use your intelligence to understand the topics of spirituality, of self-awareness, of self-realization, then that's what type of body you will get in the next life.
Yeah, it's according to 3 factors the type of body you get after you die. It's described. So the activities that you do, that's called karma or activity. The consciousness or the desires you have and you've developed in your life, and also what you think about at the point of death. Everyone says that life is like schooling and the exam is death. So that's our ultimate exam. And activity is what you do, develop your type of personality, you could say. And all these all come together, and you decide what your next life can be. For example, you like to sleep a lot, so might as well be like a grizzly bear and sleep 3 months through the whole winter.
Koalas, yeah.
Koalas. If you like to smoke a lot of weed, actually, if you like to get stoned, then a koala, he sleeps like, I studied it in school. Yeah. It's like 12 hours, 13 hours a day. And they're just chewing eucalyptus leaves and just getting stoned, actually.
And while sleeping sometimes, actually.
Yeah, I like koalas.
Yeah, they're quite fun.
Yeah, so different things. Like if you like to eat a lot of meat, and you love blood and flesh, and human body's not for you. You should get some sharp teeth and sharp claws, and you can get into your meat, no problem.
So the body of a tiger will be suitable.
Tiger, lion, puma,
cheetah.
So spiritual life is not for that transmigration. Again, going through birth and death, a cycle, because we're eternal. It's unnatural for us to die. That's like everyone is freaking out with the virus now because death is close. And what's going to happen afterwards, we don't know. We haven't prepared for it. We're always preparing for a career, after uni and stuff. What about the career after death? What about that? So the soul needs to be in an eternal atmosphere. The body and this material atmosphere is temporary. The soul is actually full of knowledge. As always, we're watching the news on YouTube. We want to have so much knowledge, even about penguins in Antarctica, man.
I just remembered in psychology, it was really funny. There's one concept that not only just humans, but think about it like just simple, like monkeys or whatever. So they can choose to press one button or the other, and they get same amount of food, right? But when they press on one button, for example on the left button, then it shows them how much food they will get, like 2 bananas. And the other one doesn't show them, and they still get 2 bananas. So they prefer to press on the left one because they want to know, although it doesn't change the outcome. Similarly for us, we just want to know. We just want to go on the news, but that might not change our way of life and our activities at all.
Nothing to do with the situation.
Yeah. But that's kind of that quality of soul comes out because we want to know.
So much knowledge. But the body, it's actually full of ignorance. It's unconscious actually.
When the person dies, you can see
be at a funeral.
That's it.
He's gone.
Yeah.
My father's gone, but he's the full body you've been interacting with. Your father's still there. If someone said, "What are you talking about? He's gone. He's still there," you'll slap him.
Yeah. Like he's gone. You tell him.
Yeah. He's gone. What's gone? The soul is gone.
Mm.
And the main thing that I like about the soul is that it's ananda, or full of bliss. It's always wanting ever increasing happiness, enjoyment, having a good time.
Having a good time.
Yeah.
That's why people like parties.
That's why we like to party. And the body always gives pain. You can get your thumb, wrap it up in silk and say, "You're such a nice thumb, look at how good you are." And then some pleasure is there. You get one hammer and bang, then the amount of pain is insurmountable to the pleasure. Yeah. So the soul is in a incompatible situation. It's like a fish out of water. Give a fish whatever it wants. $1 million, beautiful girlfriend, house by the sea, the latest iPhone. Still won't be happy unless it's back in the water. Similarly, the soul needs to be back in an atmosphere which is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. Sometimes I explain to people, it's like, what do you believe in? We believe in living forever, knowing everything, and always having a good time. That's what life's supposed to be about. Yeah.
Exactly.
So this knowledge of we have behind us is supposed to reawaken our original pure spiritual consciousness as an eternal soul that's full of knowledge and bliss.
Yeah. All right. So I think it might be enough for today.
Yeah.
But we'll be back in a couple of days. We'll continue to read the commentary. There's half commentary left. And I just want to leave it because it has a lot of stuff in it which we want to discuss, and it's really interesting.
And maybe they can ask some questions in the comments and stuff.
Leave your questions in the comments if you have any questions, and we will clear it out in our next meeting. That's it for now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks, guys.